Welcome, race fans. It's all about downhill today. We're coming at you live from beautiful Rotorua, New Zealand. This is the specialized Kārearea Downhill, stop number 2 of 5 on the series. And Alan, I think the conditions on the track are getting better by the minute.
Cam, this Skyline Rotorua track is only open for Crankworx. The conditions are dialed, the riders are dialed. Let's do this.
Let's race some downhill, baby. Specialized Kārearea Downhill right here from beautiful Rotorua, New Zealand. No place we'd rather be right now. I'm your host, Cam McCall, alongside Alan Cook. And we talked about this right there in that cold open, the fact that the conditions are potentially getting better by the minute. Comparing yesterday's weather conditions to today, this is a great day for some racing.
Yeah, yesterday, Cam, when we were walking the track, it was during the amateur races, and it was brutally technical and dangerous and slippery. The sun is shining, the wind is blowing. I expect the track to be drying up, and it's only going to be getting faster as the day goes on.
It's a great day for downhill racing. We have some of the fastest riders in the world out here today, and we're bringing this action to you live, and we're not charging you for it. You gotta love that. So to support us on the Crankworx World Tour, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel right here. We're gonna try to rack up that subscriber count. We're at about 50.9 thousand subscribers right now. We can get to 55 by the end of the weekend, right? We got downhill racing today, and then slopestyle tomorrow. Plenty to get excited about the next couple days.
Yeah, absolutely, Cam. It's Rotorua. We've been here so many times. It's such a bright spot on the circuit, not only for the tour that we're following, but also for these athletes. This is, one of the best events all year. It doesn't matter what series it is, what you're comparing it to. We're here, we're in Rotorua.
And the fact that this is a series is exciting. This is stop number 2 of 5 on our Crankworx Downhill series. We kick things off on the South Island in Christchurch, where Luke Meier-Smith and Jenna Hastings got the maximum points, 100 for the wins down there. They're hoping to add to those points here today. Before we move things up to the Northern Hemisphere, we're going to wait until summer up there to do that. We're going to be in beautiful British Columbia, Canada, Whistler, BC, and Silver Star. And then the finals will be all the way over on the east side of Canada, Mont Saint Anne, where we will be racing that legendary downhill track to finalize this 2026 Crankworx Downhill Series.
Yeah, Mont Saint Anne, no stranger to world-class mountain biking for sure, but we're going to be bringing a lot more events that they've never seen before. We're going to have a new course for the slopestyle. It's going to be, I'm really excited to get out there. It's a legendary location. I've never been there myself. I'm stoked.
We've already had pump track, ARDH, and whip-off out here the past few days. As per tradition here in Rotorua, New Zealand, the whip-off was perfect with those evening light, golden hour conditions. Let's take a look back at some highlights from the official Oceania Whip-Off Challenge. We had Andy Lemon taking the win for the men, and Eris van Leuven taking the win for the women. And as per tradition, this is the best way to really just get the festivities rolling out here at Skyline Mountain Bike Park.
Yeah, whip is, one of those tricks where it really kind of like displays the soul of the rider. Look at Cade right there, just getting insanely sideways into that red background. Such an awesome night out here.
We had Cade Edwards out here. He got third. Youngster from the town I live, Chase Riggs, got second place, so shout out to Chase out there. And Eris van Leuven taking the gold. She's such a threat when it comes to downhill, and she won the whip-off. Unfortunately, she had a crash in practice, so we're definitely thinking about Eris, wishing her the best of luck in her recovery, and congratulating her on that whip-off win.
Yeah, definitely. Big shout out to her. Things happen. It's early in the season. We hope to see her back on the bike before the end of the year, that's for sure.
It's only the second of 5 stops right now, but we already have some front runners displaying their dominance so far in the king and queen of Crankworx overall standings. Ryan Gilchrist, the reigning king of Crankworx, has picked up 2 wins already in the past couple days, grabbing the win in pump track and the win in AirDH. Look at how big of a lead he already has now in just the second stop before we've even run downhill.
Yeah, typical Ryan Gilchrist. There's no such thing as a slow start, and that goes for this World Tour. He's been stacking points all month long. And, we're just getting started. This is 2 out of 5, so.
But nobody could top Luke Meier-Smith just 2 weeks ago in Christchurch Adventure Park. He was the #1 qualified rider, so he was the last one to drop. We will see him in our field again today, and kind of the same stage is set We had Lockie Stevens-McNabb in Christchurch, the second place from seeding, crossed the finish line. When we interviewed him, he basically said, I don't know, man. Luke Meier-Smith is a beast, and Luke absolutely delivered. We're going to look back on that run right now. Watching his POV clip that he posted a couple days later, I was so surprised to see him go into a tuck on the motorway section, basically trying to get into an aerodynamic position, holding the top of his dual crowns and choosing not to pedal. His strategy played out with perfection in that race.
Yeah, nothing left on the table for Luke, and it's really interesting how the track down in Christchurch really couldn't be much different than the track that we have here, but it's still the same story. He's qualifying first, he's in a good position. I think that really shows where he's at for his season this year. I mean, 2 different tracks, 2 #1 qualifiers. We're going into the final race. He's got an amazing opportunity to start the year out with 3 wins in a row.
He is the one with the target on his back for the downhill series and the downhill race today, but Ryan Gilchrist is the man we're talking about for the overall king of Crankworx right now, reigning king from the past 2 seasons. He took 5th in the Christchurch Redemption downhill just a couple weeks ago. Sure, Luke Meier-Smith has been dominant in the downhill race, but to be able to post 5th places in the downhill race is going to help his campaign toward that King of Crankworx crown again for the 2026 season. But to watch Gilly basically sharpen his knife in the discipline of downhill the past 2 seasons has been so impressive.
Yeah, I feel like it was only, a year ago we were hearing Gilly's riding downhill. He got a downhill bike. He's only a year into being a downhill racer, but he's definitely a staple in the field.
No big surprise that he has been so quick to adapt to the sport of downhill. He's so accomplished in the discipline of enduro. He comes from that BMX background. He's been a pump track world champion, and all those skills add up to, a perfect recipe for a world-class downhill racer. One really great clip I noticed in the Unhinged YouTube series that Crankworx is doing right now, kind of behind the scenes from the racers and the slopestyle competitors at the first stop, was when Gilly saw his name on the leaderboard next to Loic Bruni. He said, wow, that's the first time I've ever seen my name on the same list as Loic Bruni. So downhill being new to him, he's still in awe of these new circumstances he's finding himself in.
Yeah, that's so cool to hear. No surprises for him. He's to be on the same list as Loic Bruni, that's a huge thing. I remember being a kid and taking a photo of my moto sheet in BMX. You can kind of feel that young, fresh vibe still coming out of him, even though he's an established athlete.
So going from Gilly, who's getting cozy with that crown on his head from the 24 and 25 seasons, let's look back to the 23 seasons king of Crankworx, Tuhoto-Ariki Pene, a man who is very comfortable here at Skyline Rotorua on this legendary downhill course that is only open when we race it here during Crankworx. We got to look out for Tuhoto in today's race. He is the New Zealand national champion. He seated well out here today, basically seating in 7th place in very slippery conditions. So I think really this wind and this weather, the track's going to get faster as the day goes by. So those really fast qualifying riders from yesterday have positioned themselves well to be riding a faster track in finals, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Tuhoto defending that New Zealand national champs title, he's going to have that sleeve. He doesn't even need a new jersey for this race, so he's got to be feeling comfortable. But yeah, you kind of heard him talking about maybe he left a lot on the table, just kept it consistent, did what he needed to do, and now the track is drying up, it's getting faster, the lines are established, and it's going to be 100% from top to bottom.
So we'll join up with the top 20 from seeding, starting off with Jackson Frew. We see Ryan Gilchrist there. We've talked about him. And Tuhoto, the fastest qualifying rider, will be Luke Meier-Smith, seeing if he can keep that momentum rolling from his big win in Christchurch. Dane Jewett was the 2nd place qualifier. He will drop 2nd to last. The stage is set for the men. How about the women, Alan? We're going to join up with them in the top 10 from seeding, and we got a star-studded cast there as well.
Yeah, the women, no shortage of excitement there either. We got Jess on there. We got all the people. Jenna Hastings there, our #1 qualifier. Our winner from Christchurch, also winning the national champs the other day, keeping that sleeve, starting her season off pretty strong.
Also, 4th place from Christchurch was Sabina Košárková, a pump track world champion who has now focused her sights on all things Crankworx, which we love to see. And I, for one, am very, very impressed with the way she's been able to adapt those skills to the sport of downhill. She's doing really well.
Yeah, I mean, it was just last year in pump track, she was doing her first pump track race on dirt, riding a mountain bike and competing on a mountain bike for the first time. coming into this season, she's already the Czech national champ. She's established herself as a threat for the queen here in all disciplines.
Sabina Košárková, the number 8 qualifier, so we will see her at the start of our list here. We unfortunately just received word Cye A'Hern and Ursula Summers will not be taking to the start list. Issues in practice for them, so Sabina Košárková will kick things off for us. We got Louise Ferguson on the start list, as well as Jenna Hastings' little sister, Kye Hastings. New to the elites field, I'm excited to see her race here again today. She put on a great show in Christchurch.
Yeah, Kate getting on the podium in that New Zealand national champs just the other day, only 2 spots behind her sister. I was really stoked on hearing the interview from Christchurch, how, you know, Kate is really pushing her sister to stay on top of her game. I think those 2 riders are really going to benefit each other going through the season.
And now that we're at the second stop, we've started to, you know, create our favorites and our riders that we are excited to follow. So let's keep with tradition that we started in Christchurch, and let's talk about our new favorite riders. I want to hear who your favorite rider is today out there, Alan.
My favorite rider is going to be Sophie Allen, because I see her as the mountain bike Kelly Slater, a gravity mountain biker from South Florida. For those of you from other countries that don't know what South Florida is like, it's like a sandbar. So how do you learn how to ride mountain bikes like a sandbar? Well, she moved to Colorado for college, but the skills are in the blood and she cannot turn it off.
I'm going to go with the rider I just mentioned, Kye Hastings. I love watching this story unfold. You see a younger sibling coming up in the footsteps of their older sibling. This is Jenna's little sister, Kate here. She took first place in U19 category here just a year ago, but now she's in the elites. She took 5th at Christchurch, as we just mentioned. But most impressive thing is she's coming off of 2 broken wrists from August last year from a race, and she started this season by a big win on the New Zealand National Series. She was really fun to watch in Christchurch. She was fun to interview, and you can see Jenna in the Unhinged series on YouTube, where she's like, oh man, I'm raising my little sister right now. Little sister, you're not following me in practice. I'm not showing you the good lines. It's only a matter of time before we see them really getting close to each other on the results sheet.
Yeah, it's cool to see that rivalry staying fun for them and really pushing each other's riding abilities to the next level.
Yes, so we are moments away from dropping our first riders and figuring out who's going to take the prizes out here at the Specialized Kārearea Downhill. But the riders aren't the only ones who have the opportunity to win prizes. I want to encourage you who are joining us on the Crankworx YouTube channel right now to join the conversation in the chat box. I got my phone right here. I'm going to be reading these comments and conversing with you, but also we're going to pick one of the most entertaining comments, and we're going to choose a winner to send out this really cool piece of merch from Crankworx Rotorua. You can only get it if you're here or if you win our little competition on the YouTube chat. Kārearea Downhill, what is Kārearea? Well, that is the New Zealand Falcon. So this art features that falcon right here, and we'll pick a winner before the end of the event and get that thing in the mail to you. And you know, that's a way you can feel like you have a souvenir from the event if you weren't able to make it here. But let's check it out. Let's check out what the people who did join us here on site are able to enjoy out here, alongside rubbing elbows with some of your favorite riders from all over the world who love to kick off their season early in the Southern Hemisphere. You can get a lift ticket and ride Skyline Mountain Bike Park yourself, and make sure you get a good seat for all these events.
That's the best thing about any Crankworx World Tour stop you can make it to. It's more of an immersive experience. You can race, you can ride, you can rub elbows with your favorite riders, global superstars. It's one of the best events you could possibly take the time to go to.
We've had a local music program out there, keeping everybody entertained in the vendor area as well, doing covers. We had some Guns N' Roses covers out there, Fleetwood Mac covers. We were eating our lunch from the variety of really good food trucks out here while being entertained by those tunes, and it was great. So a lot to follow here today, but also we want to encourage you to join us for all 5 stops of the World Tour. And I think one of the most exciting things we have for the 2026 version of the Crankworx World Tour is the fact that we have this Crankworx Downhill Series. We will be crowning champions in Mont Saint Anne on the legendary track that is one of the most famous downhill tracks on the planet. Luke Meier-Smith and Jenna Hastings from stop number 1 earned themselves 100 points, but this season is far from over.
Yeah, for sure. We have Tegan Cruz in today's race field, last year's downhill overall champion. So he's going to be looking to push himself, getting more points in that downhill category, trying to get that overall championship. But looking here, we see from the last race in Christchurch, Luke Meier-Smith on top, Lockie Stevens McNabb right there in second. Finn Isles not here, Loke Bruni not here. So Gilchrist will be looking to move himself up in also the downhill overall. Imagine that, winning the downhill overall and the King.
Hey, I would not put it past him. Excited to see we got Lockie Stevens McNabb here second in the series based on his result from Christchurch. He had an issue in seating, so he ran earlier, and he's sitting in the hot seat right now. So it's going to be fun to see how long he's able to hold on to that. But we've said the track is just going to be getting faster and faster, so really anything can happen.
Absolutely. He had a couple issues. A few riders had issues up in the sheep paddock, like when we were up there yesterday. How greasy was that section?
It's amazing that words won't do it justice. There's the sheep paddock, there's the wood section, and then this incredibly steep section down here at the bottom. I think instead of trying to describe it, we should go check out a course preview with Brooke McDonald and Chaz Mack. Take a look.
Hold on tight.
Take it away, brother. You good, Jess? He's got some new forks and brakes, and oh my God! Yeah, boy! Yes, doggy! Oh! Whoa! Bro! Brother, that was a heavy, heavy hit.
At least it'll be good for the camera.
But you're back into it?
We're back into it.
Oh, he is not slowing down either. Oh my God. Yeah, boy. Oh!
I could watch footage of Brooke McDonald following Chaz Mack down a downhill track all day long.
Yeah, if I had to like put it in like a box what Chaz Mack's riding is, it's like every single time he goes down a trail, his life depends on it. It's so exciting.
Well, we are moments away from dropping our riders here in the Specialized Kārearea Downhill. They're at the top, ready to drop. Stick around. The New Zealand government is proud to support Crankworx Rotorua, showcasing Aotearoa as the home of world-class events.
At the top of the run, take a couple breaths, try and clear my mind, let go of the brakes and go for it.
The design actually represents, it's called a Meier, which is a half profile figure. I hope they got more feeling of pride when they got the medal, as I did creating it.
There it is. Yes.
Shut the front door.
All right, welcome. If you're just joining us, this is the Specialized Kārearea Downhill live from beautiful Rotorua, New Zealand, on a legendary track that is only open on days like today, where we are racing it during the Crankworx Festival. We walked it yesterday, Alan, and it was so slick yesterday, but we have a feeling it's getting faster by the minute.
Absolutely, Cam. This track is so unique. Up at the top, it's wide open, vintage DH style, in the grass. You know, no trees, nothing, just pedal to the metal, do everything you can. And very, very quickly, you shoot yourself into the woods where stuff is dark, it's slippery, and it's really hard to do that transition. And just when you start to get comfortable, it completely changes again. It goes into a motorway where you're almost like an air DH. You're needing to stay low, you're needing to get pump, and you've used all of your energy and then it drops into the longest off-camber, rough, natural section I've ever seen in a downhill course. The thing looks amazing.
And after the off-camber, it's like straight up Red Bull Rampage into the steeps where you have big drop landings into compressions, having to brake after 3 minutes of insane downhill riding where your hands are tired into a final step down. So it's going to be really interesting to see who comes out on top today, because this is kind of the exact opposite type of track as we had to kick off the season in Christchurch.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about that bottom section, it's like getting shot out of a cannon. But where it's diabolical is in a race where you're trying to go as fast as you can possibly go. You can go too fast in that section, and we've seen a couple big explosions in practice, and at that point you're completely numb. You know, you've sat and scented the entire trail. So really being able to stay calm, stay composed, be light on the bike, conserve energy, and be able to make it through that bottom, that's going to be key today.
Let's take a peek at who the 8 riders are right now at the top of the start hut, getting ready, getting those arms warm on the trainers, those legs warm on the trainers, getting ready to hear the beeps and drop into this specialized Kārearea Downhill course. Sabina Košárková will be the first rider to drop. We mentioned the fact that she is a pump track specialist. She's been a world champion. She's also carved her way onto the Crankworx World Tour through events like pump track and slalom, but she is sharpening her knife in the discipline of downhill, finishing in a respectable 4th place to start this season. A couple weeks ago in Christchurch, she will kick things off. We'll roll into Bellah Birchall, Indy Deavoll, and Tilly, the American, definitely been climbing the ranks. A lot of first-year elites out here and some riders who are still currently racing in the U19 category, trying their hand in the pros today. But we got Sabina Košárková dropping in now.
Yeah, here's that upper sheep paddock section. You can see right there, full intensity straight out of the gate. These grass turns have been very, very slippery over the last couple of days, but I do believe this sunshine and this wind is going to dry it up. Let's see how she can do.
Okay, well, she's poised to take over the hot seat right now as long as she can keep things rolling in the same direction. 11.6 ahead at the last split.
Yeah, right there, getting a little bit loose right before the specialized waterfall section, but able to keep it composed. And right here is where things get exciting. So many undulations in the terrain. It's completely off camber the entire time. It's hard to tell how sideways this is, but man, it is unbelievably difficult. You have to be light on the brakes. You got to be really poised and positioned perfectly to be able to stay on 2 wheels. And here comes that cannon shoot we talked about.
She has been increasing her lead. She's up by 16.5 seconds at the last split. And here's that technical section we were talking about just moments ago.
Yeah, riders are riders, and her technical abilities are definitely showing on this track. And there it is right there, massive jump into the finish line, getting some pedals in. 16.3 seconds into the green. Solid run out of Sabina Košárková.
She is determined. We've seen a lot of riders actually just coast after the final landing through the finish line, but she squeezed in 3 cranks there.
Your Czech national champ right there, sporting the jersey. No question, she's one to be reckoned with out here today in Rotorua.
You gotta love this FPV drone view right here on this final section. It's like outdoor motocross right here. It doesn't look like jumps, but when you watch some of the fastest riders come through, it turns into a rhythm section.
Yeah, absolutely. And right here, you can tell how steep it is on camera, so you know it's steep. It's so hard for that to translate, but there's no question how steep this final section is. So much acceleration right there. That roller before that final jump, that's that technical part. We've seen a few riders not be able to keep it on the ground, and what that does is it blasts you into the lip, and it becomes a big issue.
So we saw Sabina Košárková take over the hot seat with a time of 3:44, 16.3 seconds faster than the fastest previous rider. Just keeping in mind here, women's seating, you know, different conditions a couple days ago, but 3:18 was Jenna Hastings' fastest time from seating. So we'll see if we continue to get better conditions, and you know, we are going to be dropping our faster qualified riders as we work our way through this start list. Bellah Birchall next up.
Yeah, 18-year-old Rotorua local right here, 5th in New Zealand National Championships just a couple of days ago. Attending Lakes High right here in Rotorua, definitely a local, used to this terrain, used to these conditions, but not this track. That's what keeps this race so unique. There's not even a locals advantage because this track, like you said earlier, is only open for this race.
Such a strong new wave of talent coming out of the junior categories into the elites this year. Bellah Birchall, one of them.
Bellah staying composed right here. So rough right into this massive waterfall. Yeah, you definitely don't want to come up short on that drop. So Bellah pulling up and making sure she clears it. And right here is where things get interesting. G'ing out about 15 times before you get to the steep chute. Fans right here lining the track. Such an awesome venue. Just look at the view as you come into the finish line. Right below the gondola. Bellah coming in, shutting down, keeping her composure right here. This is where it gets steep, and it's a rut. It's only about as wide as the tire of the main line. And having that composure and that balance through this section is super important because you have to be ready to go by the time you get to these jumps. There's no fixing your line once you're dropped in.
Isn't it insane, though, as you watch our top pro riders come through that final section, how it seems like they just flatten it out visually. They make it look so much easier than the amateurs that we've seen coming down throughout the day so far. It just goes to show the level that these top pros are on. Bellah Birchall slotting into second place. About 5.2 seconds back.
Solid time there out of Bellah. 5 seconds back, but many, many seconds above third place right now. So a solid run. Hopefully we'll see how that plays out as more riders come down.
How deep did she go on that specialized waterfall drop there? That thing is massive.
Yeah, absolutely massive. That waterfall about 6 or 7 meters high. Massive drop. She went about 8 all the way to the flat. And this right here is where things get good. I mean, you've been on course now for about 3 minutes. Now you're getting into the steep technical bit. It's so difficult when your arms are numb, your legs are numb. You can't really feel your brakes. You don't know if you're squeezing them or not squeezing them. Such a difficult section right here.
Alan, for the top riders from seeding who will be dropping later today, what do you think the ideal tire choice would be considering how these conditions are just changing?
I mean, myself, I would probably choose like a small spike, maybe a Maxxis Shorty or something like that. Something that's really going to dig into those dark, loose dirt. Not a ton of roots, not a ton of rocks to catch you out with those cut spikes.
So many different types of terrain from top to bottom on this course. Starting out in the sheep paddock, we see Indy Deavoll dropping right now. She took the win just a couple weeks ago, but in the U19 category at Christchurch Adventure Park. Now trying her hand in the elites, represent another rider just representing this wave of youthful talent coming into the sport of downhill racing.
Yeah, Indy making the switch to mountain bikes just a few years ago, coming from snowboarding, surfing, and even jiu-jitsu, where so much core strength comes into play right here, going around the waterfall. So that's definitely going to slow her down just a little bit. See if she can get over these jumps right here. Able to maintain. Yeah, it's definitely going to slow her down. It's going to affect her overall time right there. But getting to the bottom is the name of the game today. Indy Deavoll back on the gas here through this off-camber grass section. Blasting those jumps almost into the crowd right there. Keeping it super close. The higher to that rider's left you can get, the more room you have to push. So she's doing exactly what she wants to do, trying to catch up some of that time she lost on that waterfall.
In the U19 category last year at Crankworx Whistler, she won the Air DH and the Garbo DH, so we know she has a bright future in the sport at downhill. Unfortunately, going around some of these technical jump sections going to hurt her time, but still being able to cross the finish line going into third place, back by 6.8.
Yeah, that's a really solid time with those 2 go-arounds, and you kind of got to applaud her for being smart about it, right? You got to finish the race in order to be in the race.
Exactly. There's plenty of time to gap those jumps in years to come. A really respectable time right there, considering she rolled those.
Hear these riders debriefing.
No. Oh my god, I went off track at like the start of it. And then I was trying to get which side the bog was going to be on.
We heard her there. She had an issue, went off the track early. I don't know if that was the decision to do those go-arounds, but that shows her time even more impressive between those go-arounds.
Yeah, take a look at some of those photos on the right side of your screen. of Indian whip-off, just throwing that rear tire up into the air, sideways. She's got so much control over that bike and such a young rider with a bright future.
Yeah, the progression in whip-off.
Jeez, look at that whip.
The progression in whip-off has been mega over the last 5 years, but no more than the women. I mean, the abilities that they have on that whip-off big jump, no fear, no worries, just always sending it.
Second place in the whip-off a couple nights ago. Slotting into third here now with 5 riders left to go in our pro women's field. Yeah, hearing her say she went off course, and we saw her skip those jumps. Her pace everywhere else must have been so quick. Here we go, Tilly up in the gate. Second in the air DH a couple nights ago. The 18-year-old out of Bellingham, Washington. New rider on the Yeti Fox team. On course here in the sheep paddock.
Yeah, Matilda coming out of the U.S., spending a lot of her time riding Galbraith, one of the more famous places in the Pacific Northwest.
She's up.
And she is already up. She definitely quotes one of the longtime names in Crankworx, Jill Kittner, as an inspiration, riding and living in the same town. Started racing BMX when she was 2, so bike control is not going to be a problem for Matilda as she makes her way down. Going huge off that hip right there, keeping her momentum going, sucking up those holes. Bringing it in right here comes the chute. Shutting it down right here. You got to slow down. You don't want to slow down too much. This is that section where you can override it. So easy, staying in that rut. The main line only about as wide as the tire. So hard to balance.
And how deep that rut is. It's about up to your mid-shin when you're walking the course. Up by 5.6 of the last split. Crossing the line right now. Going into the lead by 5.8. Matilda Melton with a heater.
Yeah, Tilly shredding that right now. If Jill Kittner's at home watching right now, you know she's proud of the Bellingham local.
Well done.
Getting some replays right here. Looking really composed through this entire course. Getting up, landing up high on that landing. Getting this gap right here. Watch her tires on these backsides. She's catching the downsides of all of these little bumps, and that's going to create momentum coming down all the way to the finish line.
Yeah, in that final section here, there's so many places to lose speed, but there are also so many places to find speed if you're able to turn some of those undulations into available pump space. But no easy task staying on line right here in order to stay high enough to enter that A line.
If I had to put into perspective in some way what this bottom section is, it's like trying to be patient with your socks on fire. Imagine trying to do that.
I'm imagining it right now. Here, I'll light your socks on fire and you can demonstrate.
Okay.
Can we get a camera over here to light Alan's socks on fire? Tilly lit this course on fire. I'll tell you what, let's see how long it takes for somebody to knock her out of there. Tilly, you gonna hold on to this thing the whole time or what? She looks spotless that whole run.
Yeah, super composed. Doesn't look too fatigued at the bottom, so that really tells us that she was able to leave it all of her energy up on the track.
Louise Ferguson, next rider to drop. She's in the gate, keeping those legs warm. The national champ, you see that flag on her arm. UKDH national champ. She was 3rd here last year. Look out for Louise. She's no stranger to Skyline.
Yeah, she's no stranger to going big, too. The first woman to ever complete a hardline run. Finishing 2nd this year in Tasmania at hardline. Stoked to have her back out here at the Crankworx World Tour. She is up 5.4. Coming into the waterfall. What she got? Oh, gaps in a little bit right there, so she's looking really strong.
Oh, so deep. Hey, Alan, that's a good point. The riders who go and race at Red Bull Hardline, they have to be loving this course because there are so many technical features of grande stature out here. That big specialized waterfall drop, this final straightaway here. We're talking big jumps. Louise Ferguson, never one to shy away from the big jumps. 5.2 up at the last split.
Looking super comfortable, super relaxed. Back on that nuke proof after a couple of years. She's looking comfortable right there.
Her socks definitely looked on fire in that rut. All right, how much is this advantage going to be? Whoa!
6.8 seconds into the green. for Louise Ferguson out of Great Britain, your national champ out of that country. So the track is getting faster, the riders are getting faster. I like that blacked out murder kit, looking deadly, like a ninja up there.
Get that national champ sleeve really popping up against all black jersey.
That was that section where you saw her go a little long, landing front end heavy, but keeping her composure, pointing in the right direction. That rider's right. If you make a mistake and go off, it is steep and it is a big, long way down.
Yeah, we don't want to think about that even. The fact that those consequences exist, you just put the blinders on and look where you want to go.
Inside line right there, I missed that the first time. So that's going to save her a couple of seconds there, or a couple of tenths probably.
I would say Tilly looked like she was spotless and comfortable. Louise looked like she was pushing a bit, and it paid off.
Yeah, for sure, tucking in right there. It's getting a little windy down here at the bottom. It hasn't been affecting the riders on the jump, but you saw Louise tucking in right there.
All right, Louise setting the time to beat it to 3:32, but we got Kye Hastings up next. She won the U19 category here a year ago. She was 5th of the Redemption Downhill. Let's listen to Louise.
I was casing the motorway, so I think that's like definitely cost me a bit of speed. 32, that's like 7 seconds slower than seating. So.
Feature on this Crankworx Rotorua track is probably the big wooden step down near the bottom, and then I'm just going to try stay on my bike on Saturday, keep it smooth, go fast, and try to have a few less scary moments.
And also try to beat my big sister.
Yeah, definitely. Looked like she had a little stumble out of the gate there. I'm not sure if it was a shift that skipped or what, but she is on course and
ooh, looks like she's trying to get that left foot clip back in, doesn't it?
Beat her sister,
ooh, she's
Jenna,
back by 3.8
the other day.
Coming into the section she just said is her favorite, this big drop.
Ooh, little bit of a wiggle. Little bit of a wiggle right there. Staying focused. 3.8 is going to be tough to pick up from this point on, but I wouldn't count Kate out at this point at all.
Check it out, we got that comment saying Granny Hastings is watching. I'm sure the whole Hastings family is watching today with both Kate and Jenna here qualifying well for the finals.
Yeah, having a great start to her season. First year lead, 3rd in national champs, 5th in RDH just the other day. She is on her way.
There's a lot of space between Louise and Matilda here, so Kate may be able to slide into 2nd or 3rd. Back by 3.5 the last split. What is the time going to be here? Kye Hastings through the line, going into 2nd, back by 4.2.
Solid run out of Kate right there. I'm sure she is very happy to make it to the bottom of the hill in one piece after a hectic Crankworx week.
It wasn't windy. It wasn't windy?
No.
What? I was like, it's so much going down the
If it was, I didn't feel the wind.
Oh, you were just doing that fast.
It's like, it either wasn't windy or she just wasn't paying attention to the wind. She's like, I got enough to think about putting my bike in the right place.
Wind what?
Yeah, what do you mean windy?
Oh, getting a little bit offline right there in that rut, but making an amazing recovery, getting her front tire back in the rut, sliding the rear end around that turn, and just dropping in, letting off the brakes. You go from about 2 kilometers an hour to about 50 kilometers an hour in about 100 feet. Mixing feet and kilometers for everybody out there.
It was a good day before, but you did good.
Yeah.
I can't believe you didn't feel the wind. I was like stressing on the motorway.
Dude, I nearly missed the rut coming into that corner.
It was because you were hooking. I can see it on here on the screen.
I was like, uh-oh, I'm coming in way too fast. Uh-oh, there's the, oh, I need to turn and get in it now.
Good commitment. I was like, no, I'm going to slow down so then I can definitely get through. Because that's where I went off the track last year.
Oh, yeah, it was.
So, yeah.
That's that very important braking section that we were talking about earlier coming into the final section. She overcooked it just a little bit, but was able to get those tires back in the rut and make it down safely.
There's really no other option other than putting your tires in that rut. There's not really a go-around.
Yeah, I mean, going into those last final turns, that rut, it's basically playing chicken with your brakes, like daring yourself not to touch them.
So 2 more riders left to go in our pro women's field. Here's Sacha Earnest dropping in.
Sacha Earnest, we saw getting on the podium on the world stage last year. I expect this year to be big for Sacha Earnest. Some people said last year was her breakout year, but I expect big things right there. 2nd in the New Zealand National Championships.
past 2 years, actually. Second to Jenna Hastings in the NZ National Championships. And Sacha and Jenna here, the final 2 riders to take to this course. Yeah. Sacha back by 2.8 at the split.
Getting that speed tuck right there. We heard the riders talking about the wind, so that might be translating into changing their riding style a little bit across these motorway sections that are out in the open. Zooming all the way down to the bottom. There's a giant hole in the left there, and I think she missed it by about 4 inches.
We were looking at that yesterday on the track walk.
She's got time coming back, only 1.0, so let's see what she can bring.
Oh, no!
Big tomahawk right there. She's okay, she's back up.
I think that was your fault, Alan. You were just saying she's only a second back, she's got a chance, and then boom, right over the bars.
It's not my fault, don't put that on me.
I'm gonna light your socks on fire.
Sacha looking okay right there, able to get back on her bike and finish this run. Not what she wants.
I honestly believe she could have pulled back that second. She was so aggressive in here, but maybe that's part of the reason why she went over the bars. You gotta love seeing that aggression, but in that final section right there, you have to be so precise, threading the needle between grace and recklessness.
Yeah, it was just off screen for us. We didn't see exactly what happened, but anything can happen in that lower section.
The big one. And then like that far before. Yeah, but well done. How was yours? Yeah, good. Yeah, good. Just felt like windy, but
off the specialized waterfall right here. This is where we saw her really starting to tuck in and see if this FPV caught the crash that we missed just off camera. Clearing that jump smoothly, accelerating into the roughest section of the track, and there it is right there. Just lost the front end.
At least it wasn't a heavy slam, just a frustrating one.
It's so deceptive, the dirt here. Right when you think you have the best traction you've ever had in your life, there just is a little patch of grease that can take you out. You always got to keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah, on a day like today, you got to just be guessing the entire time down. It's like for people who ski and snowboard, when you got those variable conditions between powder and ice, there's grease and there's peanut butter out there, and you don't know which one you're going to get.
these are hard. No, they're soft, sorry, but like in the dirt they're hard. Yeah. And look, I'm gonna call Matt actually.
So many decisions to make with bike setup as well when the track is changing so rapidly. Look who we have in the start gate, Alan.
Jenna Hastings looking to get another win on this track, just claiming the New Zealand National Championships a couple of days ago.
In this quote here, basically just talking about how there was time to rest after the race, and in that Christchurch race, you had to just completely bury yourself on the pedal section to have any chance of doing well. She did that. It paid off. She took the win. She's leading the series right now. She's your #1 in seeding. And now the final rider to drop is 4.4 ahead at the split.
Looks so good going into that specialized waterfall section. Probably the best entry that I've seen. Gapping over the hill, staying over the front end of the bike, keeping the pump going. She's maintaining that form through here. Staying high, that rider's left is gonna give you the best line.
Oh,
look how close to tape she is right there. She's doing everything she needs to do. Extending that lead, 5.3 up on that last split.
Gets in the rut, clean.
The confidence of white pants in the downhill track paying off today.
Jenna Hastings, the two-time national champion, the #1 rider from seeding, crosses the line to win the race by 4.8.
That's 3 wins in a row to kick off this season for Jenna Hastings. Amazing, amazing run right there.
Good job. That was sick. Looking very speedy.
Louise Ferguson congratulating her right there.
That's the experience I've ever had. That did not feel like a race run. No? It also felt like I was watching myself from up here. It looked easy, so that was good.
I think they call that the flow state, Jenna. She was in the zone all the way down. Didn't feel like a race run. Those are the best. When it doesn't feel like you're going fast, but you are. That means a smooth, composed run from top to bottom out of Jenna. Look at her through here. Going the furthest off these gaps, landing on the backside. It's so important to not hit the faces of those jumps or bumps. You run the risk of washing out like we saw with Sasha Mills, and it also slows down your momentum. So catching the backside, look how dialed and smooth through this rut section she was. Gapping into the final section, staying on the ground off of that roller, perfectly straight, getting pedals in. I didn't see one misstep right there out of Jenna Hastings.
Jenna, first things first. Are we live to the house? Jenna. Test. Jenna, first things first out here. There we go, we're live to the PA. First things first. Hey, let's make some noise, Rotorua, for your gold medalist out here today, Jenna Hastings. We'll talk about the nitty-gritty of the racing action here in a second, but first things first, what is it like winning in front of your hometown crowd?
It's always so good. You know, this is the only race that we have here each year in front of the crowd, and everything else is so far away from home, and it's so hard for people to get to, so it's so nice to have everyone that kind of grew up in the same place as you come and be able to watch you on a track.
Well, you delivered, you put on a show, and the weather made you earn it. What was it like with all the variable conditions, changing your bike setup throughout the week from seeding to finals day today?
Yeah, I started my week on like a bike setup that I'd never ridden before, and that felt good, and then the track kind of chewed up a bit, so then we kind of made it a bit faster, and then obviously yesterday with the rain, and me and my sister did one lap yesterday morning and we were walking, and then this morning, like, you've got big ruts from all the kids yesterday, and then that was so much drier than it even was this morning, so it's really hard to read, and it was just ever changing, but yeah, no, that's bike racing.
It is bike racing. It worked out for you. And having little sis in the elites right now, I'm curious, were you letting her follow your lines in practice?
Yeah, she followed me quite a bit. I helped her over, I think, all of the jumps here, but it's really nice to see her progression from kind of this timid, shy rider who would follow you and couldn't even keep up following you, and now she can very much keep up following you. She hits all the same jumps, and then, you know, she's right behind me on a run like this, yeah.
Well, way to go. It's cool to see you putting her under your wing and letting her follow in your footsteps, but also you're still beating her, so congratulations on taking the gold out here today, Jenna.
Thank you.
So awesome to see the Hastings sisters pushing each other. Younger sister pushing the older sister and vice versa. These ladies have such a bright future in front of them, still so young. Looking at the results right there, Jenna Hastings with the win on a gap of 4.8. No small gap right there. Louise Ferguson in second. Kate Hastings, little sis, coming in third. Another elite podium. So her season is kicking off. And Sacha Earnest still maintaining 5th place with that crash. So that shows the speed that she has in her pocket. Jordy Scott in 11th, Emmy Lan in 12th, and we see Eliana Hulsenbosch, Jess Blewett, and Ashley Bond unfortunately not starting due to a pre-race crash in some practice. An amazing recovery, getting her front.
Only boss moves in a circle. We don't never trip over hurdles. We like too easy when we chase a paper. The way I make bread, they call me the baker. Hustle on a trilly, they like slow down.
Legendary trails, world-class hero dirt, and adventure around every corner.
At the top of the run, take a couple breaths, try to clear my mind, let go of the brakes and go for it.
The design actually represents, it's called a Meier, which is a half profile figure. I hope they got more feeling of pride when they got the medal, as I did creating it.
never really know where you're sitting at.
You've just been complaining since you got here.
I need my number plate.
Now the camera's on. There's a lot of really fast people here.
Who'd be sulking?
This is YouTube style.
What the fuck is that?
You never know what's gonna happen.
Outrageous.
What?
It's one of the most stacked old events I've ever seen.
I told her she's got it.
Hey.
It's like really tapped into my lolly.
Oh no. How was my off season and how I'm feeling coming into this?
Quite literally on a couch for months.
I haven't been on my downhill bike a lot.
This is kind of my first one back.
I'm like stronger and fitter than like I ever have been before.
A liability to myself sometimes.
Are you feeling ready? We'll find out, I guess.
There it is. Yes.
Shut the front door.
It's time for the men in the specialized Kārearea Downhill. Oh boy, Lockie Stevens-McNabb sitting in the hot seat after issues in seating. It'll be interesting to see how long he's able to stay there, but we got a bunch of other riders. Some of them are our new favorite riders. Let's talk about our new favorite riders, Alan.
Well, I don't know if this is my new favorite rider, but for here, my favorite rider is going to be Tuhoto. He's our recently crowned national champ. He lives here. His dad used to drive the shuttle out in the forest. He has a namesake to royalty. He's a former king.
He's the best.
He's going to lay it all on the line. I was listening to him talk about that run where he was kind of leaving some on the table that actually won him the national champs because of the course conditions. With the track being dry, there's going to be no holding back. So I'm really, really excited to see what he's going to lay down.
I think we will see a fully pinned Tuhoto-Ariki Pene out here today. Like you said, defending that sleeve, the two-time New Zealand national champ. The seating was also the National Championships event. I'm not sure if that's something we've explained in detail very much, but let's talk about who my new favorite rider is out here. Chaz Mack, Charlie McKay. He's the rider we saw Brooke McDonald following in our course preview. He's also the rider who took 6th out here last year. Basically, this guy rides as if there are zero consequences. He attacks the course, but somehow it's graceful as well. It's equal parts reckless and graceful. He's a privateer who is easy to love, and he has already dropped, and he's sitting in actually 3rd place right now. So my new favorite doing pretty well. He's a fun rider to watch.
Yeah, controlled chaos out of Chaz Mack, no doubt.
All right, well, let's take a look at the start list. This will be the fastest 20 riders from seating. We're going to start things off with Jackson Frew, a rider who is a staple on the Crankworx World Tour, won Cairns downhill last year. He was first here in pump track just a year ago. Who else stands out for you here? We got Tegan Cruz out there. He's going to be dropping 4th.
Yeah, the defending overall downhill champion from 2025. The thing that I'm most excited about is these names that maybe I don't notice, but with those New Zealand flags. One of the cool things about having the national champs here is it's bringing out all of the New Zealand talent. So we have everybody here ready to go.
Ooh, Tyler Waite on there, the youngster moving into the elite category. Look out. And his teammate, Richie Rude. Anytime we get to watch Richie Rude race downhill in person, we thank our lucky stars because that's going to be entertaining. Second qualifier, Dane Jewett. And then your number 1 qualifier, the man who won the first race of this 5-stop Crankworx Downhill Series, Luke Meier-Smith, will be the final rider to drop in. But the big question right now, how long will Lockie Stevens-McNabb, your defending champion from this race last year, how long will he sit in that hot seat?
I don't know, he's looking pretty comfortable right there. Got the beanie on, shorts, empty drink. Get this man a fresh beverage, his day is over.
Lockie Stevens-McNabb posting a time of 3:03.9. Let's take a look at what the fastest time from seating was. It was a 2:55.6. That was Luke Meier-Smith's time. But, you know, we've been talking about this all day, the fact that this course has been changing over the past few days with the rain that fell yesterday. And being the last rider to drop will come with its advantages. But Lockie Stevens-McNabb, an issue in seating on the sheep paddock coming into that pond jump, having to stop, go around the pond jump, basically completely derailing his hopes of a fast qualifying time, but giving us an exciting race right here. Oli Clark out there.
Yeah, stoked to see Oli Clark ripping out there on a fresh team, new bike, riding for Mondraker, coming really, really fast in the national champs that we had here 2 days ago.
So Sam Blankenship, a former king of Crankworx, currently sitting in 5th place. Excited to see how long Chaz Mack is able to stay in that top 3 contention. We got 20 fast riders coming up next. Those are some pretty short shorts you got on there, Lockie. Just trying to show off those tattoos or what?
Sat down, bro.
Just trying to chill, man. Leave me alone. Quit giving me a hard time. We can hear you actually too. How was the track during your run? We switched now. That would have been fun. Oh, this has got to be Jackson Frew up here about ready to drop in, your 20th qualifier, making it into the broadcast. Always a contender for King of Crankworx, like we said earlier. He won the Can Stop last season. What's he got for us today, Alan?
Yeah, Jackson Frew, no stranger to the Crankworx World Tour.
Copy that, thank you.
Might be even considered a Crankworx specialist these days. 24 King runner-up. He's really putting some focus on coaching these days, bringing up the next generation of Australian riders, but looking really smooth right there. Having to scrub off of that specialized waterfall, staying low, catching those backsides, tucking where he needs to, leaving no momentum on the track, just sucking the track up for everything it's got, gapping almost all the way down into that G-out, staying light. Look at that. Oh. On the move right there, 3.1 down. You know, talking about the overall times, we're getting a little loose right there. Talking about the overall times, a lot of rain came down last night and early this morning, so word on the street is that the sheep paddock is still a bit icy up top. Will that dry out with this wind and sunshine that we have? Oh. We're gonna find out. Did you see how clean that was? Going into 3rd place, Jackson Frew.
Jackson scrubbing that final step down, making it look easy, going into 3rd place, back by 3.4 behind Lockie Stevens-McNabb. 1 down, Lockie.
Jackson Frew, one of the most aggressive riders on the Crankworx World Tour. Really puts a smile on my face watching him ride, the way he just milks the track for everything it's got, whether it's a pump track, a slalom, or DH like here today.
Yeah, watching Jackson Frew ride really lights your socks on fire, Highland.
Every time. Getting a little loose right there, came unclipped. That's not where you want to come unclipped.
That scrub. Ooh. Yeah, the fact that last race we saw so many riders, you know, just digging deep and pushing to sprint as hard as they could. It was all about cardio, but the final straightaway here, it's about just trying to make sure you're strategic enough to not end up accidentally going too fast. There's a maximum speed on that final straightaway unless you want to get hucklebucked.
Yeah, definitely. We heard a lot of riders in Christchurch talking about the energy they were saving for the bottom. There's no saving energy on this track. It's laying it all down on the track. Right here, we got a super young rider, age 16, Dexter Lock.
He took the win in Air DH in the U19 category at the last stop in Christchurch. Last year here, he was first in pump track in the U19 category. Now Dexter Lock taken to the specialized Kārearea Downhill course in the elite field to see if he can mix it up.
Yeah, Dexter known for unbelievable skills in bad conditions, having the fastest overall time at the Tuhoto DH earlier this year. It's a little loose today, so maybe that's going to translate into a fast time. Looking good right there, taking some outside lines, really railing those turns, keeping his momentum going. 3.8 back right now.
That's a great sign when you have a young rider who identifies his skill as being able to ride when the conditions are bad. That's a mental strength right there.
Yeah, we hear so many goats of different sports talk about how you win championships on your bad day. If you can be fast on a bad condition day, look at that gap.
I mean, whipping basically the opposite way, like doing turn-ups on those doubles into off-camber sections, whipping the back tire out the opposite direction as the trail goes.
Looking a little fatigued right there. You can see him using his hips and his shoulders for balance, keeping it going. Let's see what he's got coming down to the finish line. Nice little whip right there, tucking straight in.
Dexter Lock slotting into 8th place.
16 years old out here on the world stage, riding with the fastest riders there are. Looking really clean right there off the specialized waterfall. Not pinpointing anything that he was missing, just maybe a little bit of overall momentum and speed. Being 16, he's probably a lot lighter than a lot of these riders, and gravity definitely comes into play here.
The fact that at 16 years old, he's mixing it up with the pros here, slotting into 8th place. Very impressive.
Dexter Lock, also an enduro crossover, so a man of many talents when it comes to the two-wheel skills. Another New Zealand family of racing. He's got 2 siblings that also send it just as hard.
Next rider up is going to be another Kiwi, Luke Wayman. 2nd in the junior category overall from 2024. 2nd at a BC Cup at Silver Star last year. Representing Atherton Racing, and issues right out of the gate for Wayman.
Yeah, hard to see what happened right there. It looked like he was trying to lay the power down and maybe got a little wheel spin right there. So hard when you start your run like that not to override and just let those mistakes compound. 5.7 back, so it looks like he's regained his composure, but just a little bit off the pace right now, gapping into that waterfall, scrubbing off, making sure he's catching that landing up high, keeping the momentum going. Luke Wayman, a top 10 finish in Christchurch just a few weeks ago. See how far he goes off. Yeah, the unwhip straight into the G out, staying low, cutting the course as much as he can. The shorter you make the course, the faster you're gonna get down to the bottom. 6.9 back right here, a respectable run for Luke Wayman, but I do not think he is going to be unseating Lockie. Oh man, those Atherton bikes look so good.
I know you drool over those bikes.
Yeah, as he comes into the finish right here, Luke Wayman looking really strong. If you can appreciate craftsmanship, please get down there and look at this Atherton bike. It is a beautiful work of art.
I believe he's running the one with the belt drive too, isn't he?
Oh, you know it.
Oh, he's right behind me. I could just look. Yeah, he sure is. Luke Wayman slotting into 7th place.
I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder what happened in the gate.
Yeah, he wasn't sure either. Here we catted up with him a little bit lower, catching those back sides. Sometimes it's not the jumps that's the most difficult, it's the sections where you need to stay on the ground. Some of these rollers and scrubs, the speed is so high down here at the bottom, it's really hard to keep in contact with the ground. Why is that important? Because you can't slow down. You can't hit the brakes, you can't steer if you're just floating.
Your brakes do nothing if your tires aren't touching the ground.
Every time.
Every time they do nothing.
Luke definitely leaving a little bit up on the hill, unfortunately having that little miscue out of the gate, but able to recover and get down to the bottom.
Dexter in the gate, Tegan Cruz, the 2025 Crankworx Downhill Series champion, making waves in the Air DH already this week.
Yeah, definitely 3rd in the Air DH here in Rotorua, 2nd in the Air DH in Christchurch. He was our runner-up in the King overall last year, so he's stacking points, and he definitely wants to make it happen here on this downhill.
Well, 14th in Christchurch. We know he's capable of more than that. I would say this track right here is going to play toward his strength. Let's see what the split says for Tegan Cruz.
Yeah, Jeremy, 9'9".
Ooh, he's close.
6'3". Those young Canadians are fast, and Tegan Cruz is a great example of that.
Look at that, he's only 1.5 seconds back here. This is very possible for Tegan Cruz. Time to beat from Lockie Stevens McNabb, a 3:03.
Look at how deep he goes off of that compression. Boom, straight by the crowd. He's got to be going so fast right there. 2.8 back, so he's lost a little bit of time. Able to recover. He does get a little low right there. Got a prototype bike right there, keeping things under the bag. We've seen a lot of riders in that specific turn right there come unclipped and make a dab.
Maybe his bike's just shy, just bashful.
It could be shy.
Here we go, crossing the line, going into 4th place, back by 3.5 seconds. Lockie Stevens-McNabb still holds on to that hot seat. 16 riders left to go here. Tegan Cruz just outside the top 3.
Boat right there in 2nd place, another rider that was not in the live feed. Definitely killing it, keeping his name up on that list of top 3 so far. Breathe it in, Tegan. We catch up right here at the bottom. On these off-camber sections, staying high, riders left, is so important. And it's so hard in the G-outs, trying to keep your traction going, trying to keep your speed going, picking your braking points, looking really smooth. This right here, this turn is gonna be key. You see that slip and stomp? That's about the 4th rider we've seen do that.
And it doesn't mean that it's getting any more grip right there every time that happens.
No.
Got to be getting slicker and slicker after each tire rolls across it. And that rut right before that left-hand turn is getting deep enough to the point where the pedals are almost scraping.
Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of got to let go of the grips a little bit. It's so hard to maintain those sections of balance when you're just fatigued to the max at the bottom of the run. But Tegan looking really solid through there.
Jonty Williamson warming up in the gate. So many young riders out here. This one's 17 years of age. 3rd at Christchurch in the U19 category. On the Yeti Fox team. Riley MTB saying, let's go Jonty Williamson. Join us in the chat. We might even throw you up on the big screen.
Oh, looks like Jonty's up, 1.0.
Oh,
he's your junior national champ here in New Zealand. He's got some speed behind him on that new Yeti factory team. Such a motivator to be on that team, developing some of the fastest riders that we've ever seen over time.
Oh, so close to that hole.
So close to the hole, but catching that downside right there. See him staying that rider's left right there, able to stay up high on those holes. He's gonna be extending, he's back now, 0.5. Can he bring it back into the finish? Lockie looking laser vision at Jonty right there. What's it gonna be? Can he keep that lead?
Oh, the poise of Lockie here. He didn't even crack a smile initially when that 0.5 back came up on the screen. Did he pull it back? Let's see what happens. Oh, so close. Back by 0.4. Jonty Williamson goes into 2nd.
He was able to bring back a 10th there in that lower section, but not enough. Lockie will remain on the hot seat, but a heck of a run for Jonty Williamson right there.
Gotta love the sportsmanship. Lockie walking over saying, good job there, youngster. That was close, Lockie. Oh boy. Oh boy. Man, I'm excited to watch what this future has in store for Jonty Williamson. Let's take a look back at this run. He's an aggressive rider, isn't he?
Yeah, super aggressive. You know,
squeezing a pedal in right there.
If Richie Rude's your teammate, you got to be aggressive.
That has to have an effect, right? You see the culture within that team. It plays toward their track record a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan Gilchrist, Jonty Williams, Luke Wayman, some of the fastest riders we have out here. Oh, even got a pedal in the air. A little shout out to Blanky right there. And there it is, that festival vibe. Being able to be as close as you can to these professional athletes. It's not something you get in every sport.
It was a fun rider to watch right here. Next up in the gate, the Canadian Jake Polito. He took 2nd at the BC Cup in Whistler last year. We're looking at some footage from him ripping Whistler from last season. Jake Polito on course, the number 15 qualifier.
Yeah, Jake, you know, he's really known for his precision and light on the bike, killing it in whip-off as well. He's down 2.7 right now. Being from Canada is like having a fast older brother. There's like just a little bit of expectation if you're from Whistler, right?
That is so true.
Staying composed off the specialized waterfall, catching those backsides, clearing those jumps. See how he looks down here in this off-camber grass section, compressing and going long right there. Looking a little bit tired, but pulling, catching those backsides. This is where that all-important braking zone is. You got to shut it down. Coming in super fast right there. That was one of the fastest entries into this section I think we've seen. So let's see if he can pull back some time.
He'd have to pull back a lot. He might be able to salvage a position here, but I don't think he's going to threaten that time from Lockie Stevens-McNabb. He's going to go into 7th place now.
He did bring...
He did, yeah, straight up.
Yeah, he did bring 0.2 back there in the bottom.
It's kind of fun to see what is possible to make up in that bottom section.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting, once you get on that grass off camber section, you're going to actually go faster by braking less. It's not about trying to go fast, it's about trying to slow down the least, if that makes any sense.
Totally.
Yeah, right there, Jake coming in super fast into that rut, looking absolutely perfect through there. There's that difficult slippery turn, able to get pedals out of there. That was where he came up and made that time up.
Yeah, strong effort there in the final straight for Jake Polito. I feel like we got more respectful Groms out here than we did at the last stop. They're not asking for any of the goggles, the plates. They're just, hey, can you sign my hat?
Don't give
Way
me
to go,
ideas,
Groms.
Cam.
I'm impressed. I'm gonna give them positive reinforcement, encouragement. I'm sure when we get to the fastest riders, they're gonna be trying to take everything. Oh, Drake Parker, I love watching this kid ride. He's part of the Outlaw Gravity team out of Utah, a kid who definitely is not afraid to flip and spin his bike, not afraid to get out there in the free ride terrain of southern Utah, but also a very fast racer. Third in the Whistler Slalom 2 years ago in the U19 category. Won a race in the Utah Gravity Series last year. And respectable seeding here for Drake Parker, 14th seeding. Back by just 0.7. This could be close. We've seen that it's possible to make up a decent amount of time in this final section, Alan.
Yeah, Drake Parker, the free ride crossover, going huge right there off that step. Gets back up, high riders left, compressing into those. Look at how smooth he's going right now. Dialed in that rut, kind of gapping in, making a few adjustments. Oh, and he lost the front tire in that section.
Drake Parker down.
Drake burst onto the internet a couple of years ago when he was 13 years old, hitting rampage lines on the internet, blowing people's minds. So close right there to the bottom, and just lost that front end in that turn.
Yeah, it's so fun to watch these Outlaw Gravity kids grow up into, you know, the fully formed adult athletes that we've been foreshadowing them to become for years after watching their video parts. Yeah, definitely gutted there. Drake Parker with the mistake in the final section.
Yeah, definitely not happy with ending his run like that, but I have a feeling once he goes back and looks at where his split times lined up, he's going to have something to be happy with and something to build on. This right here, this next jump, he cuts us off right there. Catching that berm right there, we hadn't seen anybody do that yet, and he came in faster than anybody, and right here, that front tire, we've been talking about how this dirt has its weird random inconsistencies, and for some reason, in one of the most difficult turns on the track, it's got a little grease spot on it.
That one might be our fault too. We were literally just talking about that exact square foot of track, saying that it's getting slippery.
That's just because we're paying attention. It's not our fault.
Okay, well, we'll keep telling ourselves that. Drake Parker cracking a smile now. We like to see that. As we take a look back at the top of the course, Kye A'Hern, brother to Sacha Earnest, great to see him back on the Crankworx World Tour. Third at the Australian National Champs last year.
Yeah,
Third at Crankworx Summer Series in 23. Great to have him back on Crankworx World Tour.
Yeah, absolutely. We missed Kye out in Christchurch.
Oh!
He's been healing up, but look at the speed right there, up by almost a full second. See what he can do, jumping in, jumping out, off the specialized waterfall.
We see a trend happening now, though. We see riders in the green at that split, and then they're in the red by the next split. Did Lockie just have something ultra special here, entering the final straight?
Compressed those jumps. Super good, staying low to the ground, keeping his forward momentum, getting up left on that board. Look how close he is right there.
He's only up by a 10.
Railing that turn. Wind is picking up right here. Let's hope it's not going to throw him off. Staying composed, makes it around that greasy turn. gapping out and into the finish line. What's it going to be right here for
it's
Kye
gonna be
A'Hern?
so close.
And he goes green right there by .467 into the hot seat for Kye A'Hern. Welcome back to the Crankworx World Tour, buddy. Got to let the turbos spool down right there in the finish. Got to be stoked on that run, Kye. Amazing, amazing job.
That was so close. .46.
Watch how low he stays on this next set of jumps. We've seen a lot of riders kind of gapping and getting out to those long landings, but watch right here. He's just on the ground almost the entire time, keeping his forward momentum going. Absolutely dialed in the rut section. Clean around the greasy turn that we've seen, catching out many, many riders, and just full acceleration into this finish line corral.
So Kye A'Hern knocking Lockie Stevens-McNabb out of that hot seat where he was cozily seated for 6 full riders. Super impressive, but things are about to change now as we work into the meat of our lineup. Kye A'Hern, the 13th qualifier, taking over the lead by a small margin as we take a peek back up at the top. It is none other than Dan Booker, the man who took an EDR win last season. He was 3rd in the whip-off here last year. So this will be not only a run that could take over the hot seat, but it should be a fun one to watch as well.
Absolutely. Training and building at the Medina Bike Park. We saw him at the Red Bull Hardline just a couple of months ago. People talk about the Sam Hill effect. This man is a flat pedal master. Growing up watching the hero Sam Hill, keeping that tradition alive. Really one of those riders I think we would refer to as a soul rider. He's doing it for the love of the game. No slouch right there, only 1.7 back at that split, so he's within touch. We've seen riders make up time. Oh, there was a unique line right there.
Yeah, super
kind of going around that lip, staying high. The higher you are, the faster you're gonna go on that left side. Look at almost hitting the tape right there. Looking really, really smooth. Can he bring it into the finish? Losing a little bit more time, 2.3 back. Getting pedals out of that tricky turn.
Ooh, lost a bit more.
Dan Booker into the finish.
Moving into 5th place, back by 2.9 off the lead.
Confirming it is hard out there.
That was wild, eh? Yeah. It was so good. Pretty slick in the woods too. Yeah.
So we hear the riders talking about it. It's still pretty slick in the woods. The sun and the rain will be drying it out, but much of this track is deep in the forest. Probably got no sun. And this line right here, we saw, stays all the way left and stays lower than anybody, catches that transition up higher than anybody. That was a beautiful line out of Dan Booker right there.
Yeah, talking about the sections in the woods, not only has it not really seen any sun, but it has seen a lot of traffic in the last day.
Absolutely, and there's something interesting about this volcanic soil. In one straightaway, you could have 3 to 4 different types of dirt, so it's so hard to know what's coming. You always just got to keep your head on a swivel and be like water and trickle your way down this track.
You hear a lot of the riders saying the same thing. You can't trust what you see. Something may look like it holds some traction, but it's actually completely slippery. Whereas in contrast, you're seeing some footage up there of, I think that's from Christchurch right there on the rock section, where the riders were saying you really kind of don't have to even think because everything is so grippy.
Yeah, absolutely. James McDermott here, first-year elite, UK born. He's got that BMX race background. That's going to help with the technicalities of this track, no doubt. Making the full-time switch to mountain bikes when he was only 11 years old. So he is focused and determined to make mountain biking his #1 category.
Second at Cornet Peak, the Oceania Continental champs last year. Ooh, we're not seeing him come into view right now. Could mean that we've had an issue. James McDermott possibly going down.
Yeah, we hear some of the walkie-talkies going off. Let's hope he's okay. Up the hill, something happened off camera for sure for James McDermott, but what a start. He was looking really, really tight. Up next, Tyler Waite, Matt Walker, Oli Clark, Tuhoto-Ariki Pene, and Ryan Gilchrist.
So we might as well take this opportunity right now to take a look back at the run to beat right now. Kye A'Hern's run, only 0.46 faster than that run from Lockie Stevens-McNabb. That was holding down the fort for so long. 3:03.4. Here's how he did it.
Yeah, keeping it smooth through this lower section. So important to catch those backsides of all of the rollers. Got the chainsaw going.
Is it a downhill race if there's not somebody out there with a chainsaw?
Nope, doesn't count.
I'm so happy somebody's out there with a chainsaw.
Getting the pedal out of that turn right there. Staying nice and low, keeping it straight, tucking, lunging. 0.4 right there in the lead.
But we have Tyler Waite, Matt Walker, Oli Clark, Tuhoto-Ariki Pene, Ryan Gilchrist. The next few riders left to drop. Of course, our top 3 fastest riders from seeding, Richie Rude, Dane Jewett, and Luke Meier-Smith, will be the final runs of the day here in our specialized Kārearea Downhill. Stop number 2 of our 5-stop Crankworx Downhill series for the 2026 season. Kye A'Hern, psyched to be occupying that hot seat right there, keeping the sponsors happy.
We've been hearing about the conditions changing over the day, possibly getting faster.
Oh man,
the clouds have come in.
We're so deep into downhill right now, I almost forgot that tomorrow, stop number 2 of the Slopestyle Super League, the Crankworx Slopestyle in memory of Magaza, will be going off 10 a.m. local time here. Check your little app that tells you the world clock, what time that means for you, wherever you're joining us from. Mark your calendar, make sure to catch us for that one. We saw Eric Fedko take the first big win of the season in Christchurch a couple weeks ago. We unveiled a new format for the series that's pretty exciting with the shootout, meaning there's not going to be any victory laps anytime we're running the shootout format, which makes for an exciting event all the way down to the wire. Top riders out here tomorrow like Nikolai Rogatkin, David Godziak. So Lockie Stevens-McNabb was in that hot seat for so long, got bumped out, but only by 0.4 of a second. We'll take a look back at Lockie's run because that was pre-broadcast. You haven't seen this yet. And look at that, you can even tell how much earlier in the day it was. The cloud layer had not come in yet.
And this section right here is that part that was so unbelievably slippery in yesterday's practice when we were walking the track.
Love this comment here from Zero Skill Heart 818. Great run from Kye. Lockie is no joke. So true if you follow downhill racing. Anytime somebody unseats Lockie, you know they put in a solid effort. It's great to be able to catch this run here. That was pre-broadcast because Lockie had issues in seating.
Yeah, interesting there seeing how the rut was not quite fully developed. So the track is definitely getting faster, whether it's drying out or not. Those important main lines are just getting more and more defined.
Still good enough for second place currently, but the man to beat now is Kye A'Hern. Tyler Waite will be the next rider to drop.
I'm excited to see Tyler's run. This is his first big race of the year, coming back after a broken collarbone. You know he's going to be hungry to lay it down on this Crankworx Rotorua track.
And you know he loves this track. He was first in the U19 category just a year ago. He knows the lines, and now look at the team he's on. That is not going to hurt his chances.
No, not at all. Such an awesome hill here. The Skyline gondola cruising up the hill. This place opened up in 1981. Started mountain biking here in 1990s. So cool to see this place elevate over the years. 2006 hosted the World Championships for mountain biking.
Jonty Williamson just 0.9 back from the fastest time of the day. Still a time good enough for third place currently. Let's take a look back at his run. Another one of those Yeti Fox riders.
Yeah, Jonty Williams currently third. Absolutely shredding this track to pieces. That classic Kiwi no-glove style.
Anytime we see any of these Yeti Fox riders, I get excited knowing that we've got Ryan Gilchrist, Richie Rude coming up shortly in the broadcast. Tuhoto-Ariki Pene coming up soon in our specialized Kārearea Downhill. Yeah, this final section really just gives you that vibe of outdoor motocross.
Yeah, absolutely, Cam. It totally does. Reminds me of a little bit of a Unadilla classic race. Has been happening for about 45 years out of upstate New York. Just raw, natural grass. Also reminds me a bit of some vintage DH racing where they just put the tape up and let the riders go loose.
I kind of like this new lower section compared to years past. It was legendary, that old routing, but there's almost more places for people to stand and line the entire track. You know, when the riders come through and they see the fans cheering them on, they hear the chainsaws, it gives them that extra level of encouragement. The current standings right now, Kye A'Hern in the hot seat by just 0.46. Charlie Mack still holding on to a top 8 right now.
Absolutely. You saw his run. Guy was like lightning.
Crankworx Rotorua is brought to you by Skyline Rotorua. Ride the gondola, hit the trails, and experience one of New Zealand's most iconic adventure destinations.
Skyline, always a highlight on our calendars every single year.
Yeah, we got the chance to go up to the top today and take in the views. I feel like tomorrow when slopestyle is over, it's mandatory we get up there and have one of those tall beers.
And the old coaster carts?
Let's do some luge carts. All right, so 10 riders left to go in our men's field in the specialized Kārearea Downhill. The 10th place qualifier in the gate right now, Tyler Waite from New Zealand. This kid loves this course right here, as we mentioned earlier. First in the U19 category, racing elites right now. And I'm sure everybody is on the edge of their seat to see if he can knock Kye A'Hern out of that top spot. Oh, up by 1.2.
He's green right there, right as he came into frame. Got a little bit loose with that front end, but it was able to make a correction. Hopefully that didn't slow him down too much. 1.2 up currently. Tyler Waite now in the elites. Definitely going to be looking to push all the way to the finish line down the bottom. How low can he stay off these jumps? Just scrubbing as hard as he can. Still showing plenty of energy in those legs. Oh, I almost whipped those kids in the face with the back tire.
He appears to have every one of these undulations memorized. Riding this downhill track like a pump track, making it look easy, Tyler Waite.
Little bit of an inside line into that rut. Almost loses the front end right there. Clips out.
Good
Able to make recovery. Gets his bike.
What's it gonna be? He does it, goes into the lead. The big question now, by how much? Over a second, it looks like, yeah. Just about a second flat faster than Kye A'Hern. It is on. Tyler Waite into the hot seat. The hot seat's getting hotter.
Oh, it's on fire, just like my socks.
All right, we're getting closer to that fastest time from seating, which was sub 3 minutes, but in very different conditions. Tyler Waite, the man to beat now. Okay, watch him on one of these jumps right here. He basically landed, touchdown for a second, and hopped right up into the next pump. Here it is. Touchdown, boom, into the next pump.
Look, his back tire almost hit those kids in the face.
So good.
Yeah, a little bit inside right there, but still very, very clean through the rut. That's where he almost lost it right there. Didn't lose any time, but he almost lost the race right there, that's for sure. Bringing it into the finish line, fully tucked. 1.005. He lost a little bit of time in the bottom. It could have been from that foot dab. So that last turn coming into the final chute is definitely playing its role.
Tyler Waite, hey, thank you for that show. That was fun to watch right there. And for those of you joining us right now on YouTube, thank you for all the likes. We're seeing those things come in like crazy. We got a bunch of people on the live stream right now leaving us comments. Brody Winters asking if we're on site or are we somewhere else. No, we're right here, man. We're right in the finish corral. I can hear Tyler Waite breathing right now as he catches his breath from that fastest run of the day. The time to beat now, a 3:02.
Look at the starter's clothes right there. See them blowing in the wind, so we know it's windy up top. We heard Louise Ferguson talking about how it was very, very windy up top. That is going to play a role. And we have Matt Walker on course right here. Matt Walker, our 2020 World Cup overall, also junior world champ, multi-time British national champ, no stranger to winning. 1.9 back right now, but he's staying really, really high, able to keep that composure, railing those turns, still riding with a ton of authority, dialed through the rut. Can he get through this slick turn? Oh, little bit of a nose manual around the turn, overcooked it just a little bit. He did a stoppie around the turn. How did he do that?
I'm gonna have to see that again.
Unfortunately, losing a little bit of time there, going into 6th place with a time of 3:06.291. Our fastest qualifying time the other day was 2:55.6, so there's definitely more time on the hill.
I don't know, man. Are we gonna see something that fast today with the conditions being so much different? We are talking about Luke Meier-Smith being the final rider to drop.
That is absolutely true. We also have Oli Clark, Tuhoto-Ariki Pene, Ryan Gilchrist, Mikey Delesalle, and Richie Rude, so I believe we're gonna see these times drop right there.
Yeah, we're getting closer to breaking that 3-minute mark. Tyler Waite, time to beat a 3:02.
Watch
Here
right
we're gonna
here.
see this.
Yeah, a little bit too much speed right there. Had to nose manual around the turn, almost went over the berm. Was able to save it. Yeah, totally good save. And remember, he's probably peaking in the red zone on his heart rate right there. Numb legs, numb arms, crossed eyes.
Good show, Matt Walker.
Oli Clark up in the start hill. Only 0.4 of a seconds off of that national champs win. Super, super aggressive rider. Almost reminds me of Brooke McDonald on the bike.
Oli Clark looking aggressive at the start of this run here, entering into the sheep paddock.
3.6 back as he comes into camera, so he's got a lot of work to do right here. Still dropping back 4.5, so maybe something off camera, but Oli not one to give it up, gapping in just like all the fast riders right there into the specialized waterfall. We've seen a few riders make up some time right here, so we know that it's possible. Scrubbing that jump right there into the compression, staying low, hopping those holes, keeping the momentum going. This very, very important braking section coming up right here into the rut. Looking good right there.
The feet are officially dragging through the rut.
Oh, and he almost loses the front end. That turn is so tricky.
Oli Clark moves into 9th place, back by just under 5 seconds.
Yeah, Josiah, I agree. Oli was shredding it. Coming down into this section. Such a cool view as a rider.
Hey, we got a comment here. Sean here from Rotorua, New Zealand. Thanks, Sean, for joining us on YouTube. You're here, but you're watching the webcast.
Right there to watch the front tire, almost loses it. Unclips in probably one of the least likely places, or the places you want to unclip the least. dropping into that final chute with 1 foot on the pedal has to be a scary move.
Ride the whole track just a little bit harder, you know. It was a bit, we didn't know if how wet it was today, like didn't know if it was going to be slippery or not. So I just rode with a bit of caution, but yeah, I think if it's drier on Saturday, you know, I know where to push and I know where to hold it off now, so it's like, yeah, it's good.
Oh man, it's on. He is going to push in this run. Tuhoto-Ariki Pene on course. My favorite comment from YouTube so far is we got one user saying that they named their dog after Tuhoto.
Tuhoto looked like his bike was skipping a little bit out of the starting gate. He does have that transmission in his bike, no derailleur. So hopefully that's not going to slow him down. We heard him talking about if it was drier, he was going to send it, and it is drier. And right now, he's sending it and up by 0.03, so it's super close.
Only up by, oh look, he's getting a little bit faster here, up by 0.4.
Gaining some time, lily padding through. Look at that whip right there. I don't know if he knows he's in touch with this win, maybe having some bike troubles out of the gate, but he is on one right here, 0.9 in the lead. Can he maintain that advantage all the way through? This turn right here, super important, keeps it on 2 wheels. A little bit of a nose bonk right there. Coming through, scrubbing the final jump. What's Tuhoto gonna have?
Oh, the New Zealand national champ through the line, faster by over a second. Tuhoto-Ariki Pene occupies the hot seat in the specialized Kārearea Downhill.
Did you see that whip coming in? Did he know that he was in the lead? 3 minutes and 1 second. I think it is possible to get under 3 minutes here, but Tuhoto going into that hot seat. Yeah, it was interesting out of the starting gate. You could see him laying down the power, but his cranks were skipping. It wasn't really because of a rear wheel slipping, so it's interesting he was able to overcome maybe a mechanical all the way from the very top to the bottom and go into the lead. Right there, look at that.
I mean, if he did have any sort of drivetrain issue, we're talking about a guy who can win Crankworx pump track events. He was 3rd in pump track just last night. So if everything goes south and he's got to just find speed on the course, this is your guy to do it.
Yeah, for context, they don't have chains on their bikes in the pump track contest here. Pedaling? We don't need pedaling.
Tuhoto-Ariki Pene, the man to beat right now, so close to breaking that 3-minute mark. The score to beat now, a 3:01.4. Ooh, Ryan Gilchrist in the gate.
Pump track winner just a couple of days ago. Stacking those points, 2-time king. So excited to see him back on the downhill bike. Kind of a new discipline for him, but definitely making his name and very, very consistently fast.
Gilly, the 2-time king of Crankworx, with already 2 wins under his belt here in Rotorua this year. He's close, just 0.7 back.
Getting super creative in those S-turns right there. One of the first riders I've seen go inside on both turns.
Look at that, landing front wheel first off of the specialized waterfall drop. Aggression.
Less than a second to make up. 0.7 right here for Ryan Gilchrist. Can he bring it up through this off-camber section? Looking really smooth.
Whoa.
Staying low, staying high on his left.
Oh, he lost some. Surprised, actually.
1.3 back right there for Ryan Gilchrist. A little bit hesitant in that rut section. Staying clean through that slippery turn, back on the pedals.
It's almost like he knows he's so close. This is gonna be insane. Here we go, crossing the line. Going into 4th, back by 2 seconds now. Oh, Gilly was leaking time down there at the bottom section, and that's like an optical illusion. He looked like he was absolutely flawless.
That's good.
Got to get the chest plate unstrapped so he can catch his breath. Ryan Gilchrist, one of the most savagely fit riders on the Crankworx World Tour. Looking really good here. I can't pinpoint anything that would have lost him that time. Hopping all the right holes, staying low, catching backsides.
I'm floored. Tuhoto had some very special moves through this final section.
Gilchrist with that unlucky number 13, but making it work for him out here today for this Rotorua crowd.
How about the viewer who named their dog after Tuhoto-Ariki Pene?
That's a good dog name, Tuhoto.
Michael Dot finally asking, do people still say free racer? Yeah, we haven't said it yet today, but we got some of them out there in the field. Yeah, what is that he's got on his bar end?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a ledge there for his hand to hold on, so he doesn't have to hold on as tight. But here we are, we're going to look back at Tuhoto's run, railing those outside turns, definitely accelerating through there, so very, very smooth, a little bit different style than we saw out of Gilchrist, who went inside. No wrong answer out here on the track, but Tuhoto making it happen. Tuhoto not only fast, but also stylish for his home crowd. Look at that right there, just completely sideways. Is this whip off or is this downhill?
Well, it's funny, we got a comment right now saying it's because he didn't whip as big as Tuhoto.
That could have been it.
Tuhoto moving into the hot seat with style. The former king of Crankworx, the New Zealand national downhill champion, and currently the man to beat here in the specialized Kārearea Downhill.
We got Thailand.
I just saw that one now that's up on the screen. We got a viewer, a Tuhoto fan from Thailand. Say what up to your fans, Tuhoto.
This man's worldwide.
Say what up, Thailand. Yeah, we got some commenters basically putting in their guesses for what the fastest time of the day will be. Biker Bowie says they're thinking it's going to be a 2:57. Brody Winter thinking a 2:56. For perspective, the fastest time in seating was a 2:55 from Luke Meier-Smith. So you guys are close. You might be in the ballpark there. I got to love how many people are commenting right now. Coming at you live from the Crankworx YouTube channel, where we will be broadcasting downhill and slopestyle for all 5 stops of the 2026 Crankworx World Tour. We got a handful of the fastest riders left to drop here in the specialized Kārearea Downhill broadcast. Also slopestyle tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I mean, we're just getting kind of started here on the heat of the event. This is downhill track is ramping up. I think that 2:57 is in reach. I'm excited to see if they can pull it.
When you think about the last rider to drop, Luke Meier-Smith, and what we learned about that athlete at the first stop in Christchurch, what do you think he's going to be able to pull off on this course right here?
I mean, with this track being completely different and some of his advantages being his fitness and that pedal section that we had in Christchurch, you would think that it would maybe not be as easy or attainable for him, but that qualifying time proves that he is one of the most well-rounded riders out here and in the world.
And I honestly think there are no gaps in his skill set. The fact that he won in that pedally course doesn't mean that he's just a fitness and VO2 max rider. He puts his bike in the right spot, and he is aggressive as all. Mikey Delesalle, the Canadian on course right now, back by just 1.2 at the split.
Yeah, doing it on that frameworks. Had some really unique lines up top in that grass section, further inside than anybody else. 1.2 back right now. Looking really good, doing it for the Gwyn Racing Squad.
Mikey Delesalle, 6th in the Air DH and Whistler last year. Whoa!
Getting nose heavy right there. Able to make it work. Pulling back right there. This is an exciting run. 1.9 back right there. I do not think he's going to hit the hot seat, but that was one of the most electrifying final straights that I've seen. Mikey Delesalle out of Vancouver, back on the pedals, putting some of the strongest cranks in I've seen. What's it going to be? Laying it down.
Oh my gosh, so
going
close.
Into 5th place right there.
I want to see that slight mistake again. That was wild when he went nosy into that off-camber landing.
Yeah, it was a check your shorts kind of moment right there.
And then he put on a show right after that. You can watch Mikey Delesalle go for another lap. Can you just go for another one so we can just film it and make a video?
Off the waterfall section, right here, over these couple of rollers in the double. But this hip jump into the G-out is where things got a little bit hairy. Watch right here, compressing in and getting a little bit nose heavy in the last place in the world you ever want to get nose heavy. Absolutely electrifying. You can see the lightning bolt. That's how electric it was. And going massive off the next jump.
Just pulled off that next one.
I really like how much body English he has down here at the bottom. That shows fitness, skill, and control. Look how hard he's pedaling out of the turn right there. Another big whip for the crowd into the finish.
Well, 2.29 off the pace, went into 5th place with 3 riders left to go. And this man in the gate now, Richie Rude. Do not blink.
Multi-time Enduro overall champ, multi-time Enduro world champ. Changed his focus back to downhill. Previously a junior world champion downhill. Also moved to Bellingham, so a new focus on racing for him, really pushing it for the downhill.
It's so close. 500ths faster right now at the split. Richie Rude on pace.
Yeah, Richie Rude definitely on pace right here. 0.05, it's by the skin of his teeth. He's in the lead right now. Can he maintain that momentum through this bottom section? Looking pretty good so far, staying lower than any other rider, keeping it on the ground. Richie, one of the most talented riders right there, super high, losing a little bit of time, 0.7. What can he do in these last few turns? We saw some people make up time coming out, getting a little offline right there, able to keep it on the track, but maybe losing more time.
What's it gonna be? Richie Rude through the line into 2nd place, back by 0.7.
So he did bring back a little bit of time there in that bottom section. That mistake didn't hold him off.
I was like, oh, I came in pretty hard. And they just told me.
Locking himself a spot right here.
Well, dodging this Richie Rude bullet secures Tuhoto a spot at least on the podium, considering we have 2 riders left to go.
Yeah, our next rider, Dane Jewett, possibly one of the most undercover riders that we've ever seen. It was big news when his brother, Jacob Jewett, took the inaugural 1099 win in Crankworx Whistler. But what flew kind of under the radar is his brother, who won the junior category, only 17 years old at the time, was actually slightly faster.
Fastest time of the day that day. Great to see Dane Jewett in the elites now. Richie Rude moving into 2nd place. He's already picked up some hardware so far this Crankworx Rotorua. He was silver medal at the Air DH a couple nights ago.
Pretty physical. It's pretty flat up top, and then it kind of drops down and gets steeper at the bottom, but you're gonna have to be carrying a lot of speed through the motorway and pumping and pedaling pretty hard to have a good result. A lot of good boys are here, but I think I can do pretty well, so kind of just go hard and hopefully it works out.
Oh, he's going hard. Look at that effort out of the gate. The new fish on the Giant Factory Racing team, only 0.8 seconds off of his teammate, 1st place qualifier. So you know he's not only battling here for the win at Crankworx, but he also wants those team bragging rights.
He was back by 1.2 at the first split, pulled it in a bit. He's only 0.3 back at the last split we've seen. You hear him in that soundbite saying, yeah, there's some good boys out here. Well, guess what? He qualified faster than all but one of them. The 2nd rider in seating, approaching the final straightaway.
Looking very composed through this rough off-camber section. Landing nose down right there. That's going to increase the speed. Only 0.3 off right now, so he's in touch. We've seen 0.3 get pulled back in this section. Oh, and he moves a little bit right there. Not even slowing down, getting his foot back on the pedals. Gonna get everything he can right here down into the finish line. What's it gonna be?
Time to beat a 301. Does he do it?
Oh, he does it right there. 0.346 into the lead. That is what's up right there. Dane Jewett absolutely laying it down. So the pressure is on his teammate up at the top, Luke Meier-Smith. That run was on from moment 1 when we saw him come out of the gate. He was pedaling with intention.
Look at this speed tuck. We've seen riders choose to pedal right there. I think it's a smart choice. Land smooth and just milk the speed out of these transitions. He was just consistently pulling in the gap the further down the course he went, starting out back by over a second and then pulling it back just 1/10 of a second at a time. Definitely paced himself accordingly on this bottom section.
Yeah, look
We're about
how
to see his foot come out here.
came into that section maybe faster than anybody.
I almost think that was intentional. I think he was planning that.
A fast plant?
Yeah, a little fast plant.
Dane keeping his composure in probably the gnarliest section where you're the most tired.
Catching the last bike length of transition out of that final step down landing. Well, there we go with one rider left to drop. Dane Jewett is the man to beat. 3:01.08 is the fastest time of the day as we get our first visual of Luke Meier-Smith leading the Crankworx Downhill Series 1, the Christchurch event. The last man with the chance to knock Dane Jewett out of that hot seat is on course, up by 3.2 at split number 1.
He is on the move right here, 2.4 in the lead in this final section.
We saw Dane Jewett get faster as the run went on. We've seen Luke Meier-Smith lose a little bit between splits 1 and 2.
Yeah, Luke going long off of the waterfall right there, but you know he's going to lay it down right there, staying wide, ducking to the inside, staying up high in that off-camber section.
This just screams no nonsense speed here.
2.5 up. It's his race to win. He gets a little bit loose and offline right there.
He's got so much to play with though, up by over 2.5 seconds.
He needs to keep it composed. A little bit more right there. This is going to be tight. The battle of the teammates. Can Luke Meier-Smith make it 3 in a row?
Oh, he does it. Luke Meier-Smith makes it 2 wins in a row.
2 wins in a row right here in Crankworx, including that national champ. So starting his year off with nothing but first place. Luke Meier-Smith laying it down. Kind of went back and forth a little bit on the bottom, a couple of mistakes. Probably didn't feel confident coming into that finish line, but he had a little bit of a padding, and he did it. Look at that, the only rider to break into the under 3-minute times. Sounds like he had a couple of scary moments up there.
Sorry?
Let's watch this lower section where it almost came apart. Going along a little bit right there off of the specialized waterfall. Sort of regained that composure. Looked really good in this beginning of the off-camber section. But once he got past the second jump coming up right here, things kind of went downhill a little bit. We see him get a little bit loose in this braking zone. Watch. Front tire steps out just slightly right there. He gets a little bit offline. And then really, I'm sure he's wanting to really accelerate into the finish after that mistake, and it compounds right here into another little mistake, but he was able to do everything he needed to do to use that padding and whatever he did up above to carry that momentum, and was the first and only rider to break that 3-minute mark today. We got Cam down in the corral with Luke.
Luke Meier-Smith, you're just collecting these things right now. Let's get this gold medal over here. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for your gold medalist in the specialized Kārearea Downhill, Luke Meier-Smith. Luke, first in seeding and first in finals at the first 2 stops of the Crankworx Downhill Series. We know you really had to earn that first one at Christchurch, and it looks like they really put you through your paces, and you had to earn this one as well. How challenging was it throughout the changing conditions the past couple days, and then sitting up there being the last guy to drop?
Yeah, for sure. It was super tough. This morning was crazy. Like, every run just getting drier and drier. Like, the first run compared to, say, the run I just did, I don't even know, like, felt like 30 seconds slower or more, like, with how slippery it was. So, yeah, it was, I knew it was drying, and I knew it was going to be almost similar to yesterday. Top woods was a little bit greasy still, but yeah, a few more holes as well. But yeah, pretty loose run, honestly. Hit some holes pretty hard and got pretty bucked. So I didn't really think it was enough, but yeah, super stoked to come out on top again.
Absolutely, it's great to see. Thanks for putting on a show. Also, final section right here, a little bit of a bobble. You had no idea you had 2.5 seconds to play with. What was going through your mind at that point?
Yeah, I got pretty kicked in the compression before the last steeps, but it wasn't too bad as far as losing speed. And then, yeah, I stuffed up the last turn pretty bad. Like, I almost didn't make it round to the A line, but luckily just stayed on line and got to the finish line.
Well, this man is undefeated so far this season. Let's make some noise once again for your gold medalist, Luke Meier-Smith.
Luke Meier-Smith leaving it all out there on the track. It wasn't clean, but it was what he needed today. Looking at the standings here, Dane Jewett, a solid second place, only 1.6 off, followed by your new national champ, Tuhoto-Ariki Pene, Richie Rude, Tyler Waite. Awesome start to the season for Kye A'Hern, a little bit late starting the season due to injury, but an awesome start for him. Ryan Gilchrist, another top 10 in downhill. Mikey Delesalle in 8th.
What an athlete that Luke Meier-Smith is.
A pure specimen of a human being.
What a specimen. Jeez, man. Unfiltered, the Crankworx Behind the Scenes series, the first episode following the downhill riders is up on the Crankworx YouTube right now. I would suggest to all downhill race fans, go watch that episode because it really shows the camaraderie and the race prep between the two buddies, Luke Meier-Smith and Ryan Gilchrist. Everything from bike setup to just fitness in the van between practice runs. They have it down to a science, and it's working.
Yeah, absolutely working. I'm pretty excited for the rest of the season. We got 5 races this year, which is new. We only had 3 last year, 4 in the previous years. We're just getting warmed up here. Taking a look back at the top 3 riders right here. Richie Rude, one of the most vicious beasts of a mountain bike racer right there, coming in your bronze medal position. Tuhoto-Ariki Pene, your newly crowned New Zealand national champ right here, coming in silver, and Luke Meier-Smith making it 3 in a row, undefeated in the season so far this year. Really looking forward to seeing how that develops.
Hey, guess what? Luke Meier-Smith and Jenna Hastings took the win in the specialized Kārearea Downhill. But one of you lucky viewers who commented on the Crankworx YouTube channel, you want a piece of Crankworx Rotorua merch, and I have your name right here. First, let me remind you what you won. You can only get this thing 2 ways. Either be here and buy it from the merch tent, or give us a fun, entertaining comment. Ryan Hall, 1386, you win. We're gonna get this thing in the mail to you. Let's see if I can hook it up here again. Oh, so close. I'm gonna throw tomorrow's shirt too. All right, strike, I'll get it tomorrow. Guess what tomorrow is, Alan?
Slope style.
Oh my gosh. This was so much fun. I figured this was all the fun that we have for the weekend, but we have more fun.
Yeah, we're just getting warmed up. The fun is ramping up.
Who are some of the riders that you're most excited to see tomorrow in slopestyle? On that legendary Crankworx slopestyle in memory of Magaza, of course, 9 very trickable features of varying degrees of difficulty.
Man, I usually my favorite rider is the one that's on the course. I'm not good at picking favorites, but I feel something in the air for Nikolai Rogatkin.
Nice.
I think he might be capturing some of that magic he's had here in the past.
Fedco won the first stop in Christchurch a couple weeks ago. Also, we're going to have David Godziak out there. We got some youngsters as well. Dane Fulp, I'm excited to see. I saw him doing backflip Supermans on the Cannon log. I love to see the riders dragging technical tricks to the weird features. So tomorrow, 10 a.m. local time is when we will be doing the Crankworx slopestyle in memory of Magaza.
Yeah, but let's not forget about the women. We're going to have Robin Gooms, last year's winner, back again. We didn't see her in Christchurch. She's local. She's from around here. She's back and she's ready to shred too. So the women and the men in slopestyle are going to be sending it tomorrow.
So you mean to tell me we have Robin Gooms, Patricia Druin, and Alma Wigberg all riding the competition tomorrow? The 3 who have won. This is going to be insane.
They back.
So excited. Well, specialized Kārearea Downhill has been a blast. It's great to be back here at Skyline racing this course after, you know, a few years in Taniwha in the forest. We came back here last year, and the fact that this was the host of the 2006 World Championships race, it's always fun, and it feels like continuing a tradition to do a world-class downhill race here. We got to thank you all for joining us at this race, as we now have some points to add to the tally here for the King and Queen of Crankworx overall. Those big surprises here, that Gilly guy, He may not be winning the downhill races, but guess what? He's picking up points and he's winning everything else.
Yeah, he's stacking points, but as we go on throughout this series, there's going to be more events at each stop, so it's not anybody's win so far. He is absolutely dominating it so far, but it ain't over yet. Talking about this track a little bit, I think it's easy to put it on the list of legendary downhill tracks. Some of the names you might compare it to: Fort William, Val di Sole. It's a yearly pilgrimage for the world's fastest downhill bikes to come here to Rotorua and race this Skyline downhill track.
This Luke Meier-Smith giving out his phone number to all the fans.
What's your phone number? Number 1.
See, look, he's still got his goggles on. They're not even asking. I like the crowd out here. Can you please sign my hat? So many Groms ripping around this venue. There are all these little ride zone areas full of berms and little ladder bridges. It almost seems like the parents just come out here and be like, hey kids, we're going to Crankworx today. Drop the kids off. They just rip around and ride all day. Meet up behind the tape to watch the downhill. And I'm sure they're going to wake up early tomorrow morning for slopestyle, and I hope you do too. Thank you for joining us here today, the Specialized Kārearea Downhill. We'll see you again for more downhill action at the next stop in Whistler, but set your alarms for tomorrow because it's the Crankworx slopestyle in memory of Magaza. We will see you then. Good night. Here's my pen.